Hello, and welcome back to the studio. I'm Dr. Wigo, and today, yes, more Vision Pro, because you can't have too much Vision Pro. Before I get into that, program note, this is a big week in Apple. We've got a whole bunch of announcements of new computers, we think. So that's probably what next week's video will be about. But also, iOS 18.1 is finally releasing, again, rumored on Monday. So the week after next will be my review of the iPhone 16 Pro Max, which I was waiting for Apple Intelligence, at least some part of it, to arrive so that I could actually review what Apple was announcing and selling when they announced this phone. And they're finally, like a couple of weeks later, getting to part of it. And also, iOS 18.1 will enable the hearing aid function in the AirPods Pro 2, which I bought for that specific purpose. So the video the week after that will probably be my review and overview of the hearing aid functionality of the AirPods Pro 2, made possible by iOS 18.1. So it's going to be all Apple for a while, unless something else comes up. You never know. But that's my current schedule. Moving on. What am I going to talk about with this guy this week? Cool new stuff. As I've made clear on this channel in all of my Vision Pro videos, I'm a content guy. I'm not going to be using the Vision Pro for productivity. I hardly use my computers for productivity. I mainly use my desktop for editing these videos that you're watching, and that's about it. But I think this is a fantastic consumption device. And we've got some new stuff to talk about on the consumption and content side. We'll start with, as I mentioned in last week's video, a Requiem for Juno, which was the app that someone developed since Google wouldn't do a YouTube app for the Vision Pro. Someone did it for them, and then Google went after them and said they were violating their terms of service by pretending to be a web browser. But they kind of were a web browser. Anyway, you're going to see some more of that in a minute. The first app I'm going to talk about, which isn't really that new and which I only found out about because I saw it in another Vision Pro video from another creator on YouTube, is Supercut. This one's pretty good. In addition to YouTube not having their own standalone app, Nextflix doesn't have a standalone app, nor does Amazon Prime. Now Amazon Prime does have an iPad app that you can use in the Vision Pro, but it doesn't have its own app. But this app is both. It is a Netflix viewer. It's like being in Netflix. And it's also an Amazon Prime viewer, and it's like being in Amazon Prime. So you open the app, and then you have to sign in to Netflix and or Amazon, and then you get the Netflix experience. You can select movies, you can select TV shows, you can search, you have the full functionality. But then if you go up and click in your little icon in the upper right-hand corner, it lets you switch to Amazon Prime. And again, you log in, and now you've got an Amazon Prime viewer. And you can look at the TV shows, you can look at the movies, you can search. It's fully functional. It's an amazing little app, and it's like $5. The other app I want to talk about is Moon Player. Now, I really can't demo this for you because even though back when 3D was new, like 10, 15 years ago, and it was really hard to get content, well, I may have downloaded some content off the internet. I don't know. But I downloaded all sorts of 3D videos, and there were all sorts of things on there. All of those videos I downloaded, Moon Player will play. Now, again, I couldn't find any of them. I went through I was going through old drives. It was 10 years ago. I'm pretty sure I still have it somewhere, but I couldn't find them. But anyway, back in the day, you could do 3D stuff and side by side or top and bottom, and there were a whole bunch of ways. Moon Player handles all of that. An amazing little app. So you have full access to 3D and all 3D content that you've downloaded or found elsewhere or that doesn't fit into one of the existing apps. You know, any 3D video file, and again, there's multiple formats, but this supports all of them that I've found. So pretty cool little app. But it's not the apps I really wanted to talk about. I want to talk about content. It's been almost 9 months since the Vision Pro came out, and I'm kind of burned out on 3D. Yeah, I know. Hard to believe. I've seen almost everything. You go to Disney Plus and there's like 50 3D movies. But I have seen most of them, and the ones I haven't seen are the ones I don't really want to see. But if you go over to Apple TV app, where you can buy movies, they have over 200. Of course, 50 of those are duplicated from Disney, but 150 more movies. Again, some of which I've never heard of. Some of which I didn't even know they made. They remade Ben-Hur in 3D? Who knew? But there's all these movies that you can download in 3D. But again, the 3D is impressive in the Vision Pro. Now remember, when you were watching 3D on your 3D TVs, you were actually seeing 1080p because they were using the 4K signal to have two 1080p signals that they could then show to your left and right eye. So they were using all 2,000 scan lines, but 1,000 were left eye and 1,000 right. This is 4,000 to both eyes. So it's much higher resolution than the 3D back in the TV days. So if you had a 3D TV, you go, well, I don't want to get a Vision Pro because it's just, I had a 3D TV. No, this is way better. Much higher resolution. But there's always a but. It's 3D and it's thing, and you can do, and by the way, the Moon Player has like environments you can sit in, and you know, Disney Plus has environments you can sit in, and the IMAX theater has the thing you can sit in. So they have these environments, but it's still watching a 3D movie on a flat screen that looks 3D. But what isn't that is immersive video. And that's where Apple shines. And they have recently released an immersive film shot by the director of All Quiet on the Western Front, which won an Academy Award. So this is a big director. And it's astonishing. You're in a submarine during World War II, and you're in the submarine. I mean, you can look around as the camera walks down through the submarine. You can look at the panels. You can look at the people sleeping in their bunks. You can hear noises and turn around and see what made that noise. It's just amazing. And of course, by the title and it being in a submarine, you can figure out that at some point you end up underwater. The immersive stuff underwater is, well, doubly immersive. The problem is, it's 17 minutes. And if you go look at all of Apple's immersive offerings, they tend to be 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 8 minutes. This is great for our short attention spans here in 2024, but there aren't enough of them to add up to enough time to justify the amount of money you have to spend to get the player. We're getting there. And Submerged is a huge step forward. Brian Tong made a whole video about this movie, saying it changed his life. I will link that down below so you can go watch Brian Tong go nuts over it. Of course, I can't show you any of this. Not only is the copy protected, so when I record, I just get a blank screen, but it's immersive. You would have no idea. Here's my advice. Go down and get a demo at the Apple Store and look at one of these things. Don't watch Submerged. They're not going to let you watch a 17-minute movie. But they have a bunch of 4-minute ones, like the NBA, 4 minutes of the NBA, 4 minutes at the Super Bowl, and you're in the locker room surrounded by the players before the game and after the game, and the things playing, and on the game, on the field during the game. They kick a field goal, and you can watch it and look over and watch it go through. I was astonished. When you can watch football like that, I'll be watching a lot more football. I've kind of gotten away from football since my dad passed away, because that was kind of our thing, watching football together, and it kind of makes me sad now. But in 3D, I'll forget all about old Dad. No, I won't, Dad. And concerts, and there's all sorts of, there's some longer form immersive stuff, like the Alicia Keys concert and some of these other things. But the really amazing things tend to be like really short, because it's a lot of work to film these things. They need special cameras. It's complicated. The promise is there. As long as this thing exists, Apple's going to keep making content for it. And as their content library grows, then by the time they bring out the next version, which is rumored to be a $2,000 version, well, there'll be a whole lot more content, and will be way worth more $2,000 than it is worth $3,600. I'm still glad I bought it. I wish I had the money back for reasons that you'll find out in a future video. This video is months and months in the making. Apple is positioning themselves to really be a go-to for immersive content. and they're doing some phenomenal work. This Submerged movie is just the beginning. They have all these other ones. The Dino Adventure that they did back at the launch, you can still do that. I'm bullish on the future of the Vision Pro. I'm just not bullish on the immediate future. I think I just read that they've cut back to like 500,000 is how many they've sold so far. And they've cut back production and they're not selling very fast. But again, there'll be a cheaper one coming and that'll kick sales back up. And if they continue to pile up this content, then when that comes out, it will be worth spending $2,000 on. And of course, we all know where they're ultimately headed, which is the glasses, where you just put on a pair of glasses and you do all this stuff, and you don't need this giant thing that sits on your head and hurts. Although the AnaPro has helped. I just got notified that the AnaPro A2 got funded, so I will be getting my Kickstarter funded version of the A2, which has more adjustable. Well, I'll be doing a video about it. So stay tuned for that. That'll be next month sometime. We got the next several weeks all booked up with Apple stuff. That's my update on the state of Vision Pro. Content is coming along way too slowly for my taste, although I understand. With only 500,000 units, that's not a big market. And they give these things away for free. They're not charging for this immersive content. It's to help sell these. But again, as they build up the library, it will really help with that rumored $2,000 version coming down the road. But that's really all I had to say. So that's it for today. Thanks for stopping by. See you next time. Bye-bye. I'm going to go start working on all those other Apple videos that I got coming in the next few weeks. Thanks for staying to the end. Bye-bye.